Hey Bankless Nation, welcome to another episode of State of the Nation. We're talking today about scaling Ethereum with the Polygon zkEVM that was just announced today. David couldn't make it for this episode, so I am solo with Mihailo and Jordi from the Polygon zkEVM project. Really excited to dive into this conversation, a few things we're talking about. Of course, as we said before, this is zkEVM season. We had zk Sync on Friday. Today, the Polygon zkEVM is now out, so we talk about it. As we get into this episode, we're about to discuss what just dropped today, so what you can use today. Then we discuss zk rollups versus optimistic rollups, which ones are better and for what purposes. We also discuss what happens to the Polygon proof-of-stake chain. We discuss the new frontiers and opportunities that this unlocks. And of course, we talk about the future of the MATIC token. One disclosure before we get in, I am an advisor of the Polygon project, been supportive of this project for a long time and excited to see what they're doing here. Okay guys, we're gonna get right to the episode with Polygon, but before we do, I wanna thank the sponsors that made this episode possible, including KRAKEN, Bankless's #1 recommended crypto exchange for 2023.
KRAKEN has been a leader in the crypto industry for the last 12 years. Dedicated to accelerating the global adoption of crypto, KRAKEN puts an emphasis on security, transparency, and client support, which is why over 9 million clients have come to love KRAKEN's products. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, the KRAKEN UX is simple, intuitive, and frictionless, making the KRAKEN app a great place for all to get involved and learn about crypto. For those with experience, the redesigned KRAKEN Pro app and web experience is completely customizable to your trading needs, integrating key trading features into one seamless interface. KRAKEN has a 24/7, 365 client support team that is globally recognized. KRAKEN support is available wherever, whenever you need them, by phone, chat, or email. And for all of you NFTers out there, the brand new KRAKEN NFT beta platform gives you the best NFT trading experience possible. Rarity rankings, no gas fees, and the ability to buy an NFT straight with cash. Does your crypto exchange prioritize its customers the way that KRAKEN does? And if not, sign up with KRAKEN at kraken.com/bankless. How many total airdrops have you gotten? This last bull market had a ton of them. Did you get them all? Maybe you missed one. So here's what you should do. Go to EARNIFI and plug in your Ethereum wallet, and EARNIFI will tell you if you have any unclaimed airdrops that you can get. And it also does POAPs and mintable NFTs. Any kind of money that your wallet can claim, EARNIFI will tell you about it. And you should probably do it now because some airdrops expire. And if you sign up for EARNIFI, they'll email you anytime one of your wallets has a new airdrop for it to make sure that you never lose an airdrop ever again. You can also upgrade to EARNIFI Premium to unlock access to airdrops that are beyond the basics and are able to set reminders for more wallets. And for just under $21 a month, it probably pays for itself with just one airdrop. So plug in your wallets at EARNIFI and see what you get. That's EARNI.FI. And make sure you never lose another airdrop. The Phantom wallet is coming to Ethereum. The #1 wallet on Solana is bringing its millions of users and beloved UX to Ethereum and Polygon. If you haven't used Phantom before, you've been missing out. Phantom was one of the first wallets to pioneer Solana staking inside the wallet and will be offering similar staking features for Ethereum and Polygon. But that's just staking. Phantom is also the best home for your NFTs. Phantom has a complete set of features to optimize your NFT experience. Pin your favorites, hide your uglies, burn the spam, and also manage your NFT sale listings from inside the wallet. Phantom is of course a multi-chain wallet, but it makes chain management easy, displaying your transactions in a human-readable format with automatic warnings for malicious transactions or phishing websites. Phantom has already saved over 20,000 users from getting scammed or hacked. So get on the Phantom waitlist and be one of the first to access the multi-chain beta. There's a link in the show notes, or you can go to phantom.app/waitlist to get access in late February.
Bankless Nation, I'm super excited to introduce you yet again to Mihailo, who is the co-founder of Polygon, and also Jordi, who is the technical lead for Polygon Hermes, otherwise known as the Polygon zkEVM. Jordi, Mihailo, how are you guys doing today?
Hey, Ryan.
Very good. Very good.
Right.
You guys just dropped something big. We got some news. Let's start there. What just happened? The Polygon zkEVM, what just hit us?
I'm going to hand it over to Jordi first because he's the one who's created this amazing technology. So let him start and maybe I can add something.
Well, mainly it's a milestone. So this is a milestone for scaling Ethereum. That's what's happening. So if we go 2 years ago, scaling Ethereum was nobody knew how to do it. Actually, it was 2 years ago after a blog from Bjelic that people start realize how to do that. And then we started with rollups and start talking about optimistic rollups, zk rollups, and especially in the zk. Then we started to build, only payments rollups. But the big challenge here was to do a zkEVM, so an Ethereum compatible, so something that works exactly the same that Ethereum, but scales, okay, which is what means scaling Ethereum. And here is where the challenge started. And we started that 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, and has been a long trip. It's a short trip maybe in time, but it's a long trip in engineering, in going deep, in solving problems, and in figuring out how to do this, how to bring this technology practical. And today is it's not the end of the road, it's a milestone, but just putting this technology, creating the system and making it available in a real system in mainnet. This is really an important achievement, and this is what's happening. This is what's happening today, and this is why we believe this is an important moment for the Ethereum community.
So this is an important moment for Ethereum because we've been on the quest in crypto to basically scale our trustless technology, to scale Ethereum for the past, 8 years? Since the inception, since Ethereum's birthday, it's been a long time. And before that, we were even trying to scale Bitcoin. And now we've come this far. We've got this new technology called zk technology. We've built an EVM around it, so we can have zk layer 2s that are programmable. And what just launched, as I understand it, is the Polygon zkEVM. And when you guys say launched, do you mean on mainnet? Is this available for users? Mihailo, what just launched this morning? What can people go do right now?
Yes, it's a great question, and it's important to state that this is an actual mainnet, right? So we have been running zkEVM on testnet for months already with very good results. We learned a lot. We have more than, I believe, 7,000 applications and smart contracts deployed, thousands of transactions, and thousands of users have already tried testnet with test assets, right? We are now hitting the mainnet. It's the actual mainnet, and we are fulfilling, I would say, or ticking all the checkbox that you would normally expect from a full-blown mainnet. So these are real actual assets bridged from layer 1. The zkEVM is full-featured. We have multiple external and internal audits. Prover is running. All code is visible and with the permissive open source license. So basically, it's a full-featured, complete, full-blown mainnet, I would say. It's important to state, and Jordi can add to that, this is a mainnet beta, and this is a very, very complex bleeding-edge technology. For us, it's very important in this moment. We are incredibly excited and incredibly proud that we have been able to ship this bleeding technology. And as you probably know, and many people familiar with the matter know that estimates for that it's going to take 3 to 5 years probably to ship this technology. And even then it was uncertain whether it's going to be practical, what will be the computational requirements, will we need data centers to run these provers, how everything will turn out. We're very, very excited and very happy that we have full-featured mainnet with very, very practical prover. We have been running prover, the whole testnet basically is running, the prover is running on regular AWS instances that are costing us, I believe, around $2 per hour. So this is really, really practical technology. And we're very happy about all of this. But all that being said, we really want to advise caution to users of the mainnet. This is bleeding edge technology. This has never been shipped. Polygon is the first one to put this into production now. We're excited about that, but users should be mindful when bridging, especially larger amounts of assets to mainnet. So that's something that is very important for us to communicate. Every code, every complex code needs some time to mature, and this technology will certainly need some months to become, really battle tested and proven. So
yeah, I want to definitely
important.
Emphasize that, guys, and we'll have a time to discuss sort of security. But when Mihailo says bleeding edge, bleeding means you can get cut, right? And so, be cautious as we enter here. We'll talk about security, the status now, and where you want to evolve that to, and how it becomes safer in that trajectory. But before we do, let's talk about a user and what they can experience on Polygon zkEVM right now. And just to refresh people, Mihailo is absolutely right. Been in the space we've been talking about the holy grail of the zkEVM for a while. So we had some zk technology that allows us to do sort of simple transaction-based kind of back and forth Bitcoin type of things. But we haven't had the technology previously to create a general purpose EVM, which is the programmability that Ethereum brings to the market. And now we have that, and that's ahead of schedule. I want to emphasize that. I mean, 2 years ago, like the crypto world was saying, I don't know, this is 5 years away. Can it even be done? Is it 10 years away? And now we're here. So that's why this is so monumental. But let's get back to kind of the users for a second. Our analogy at Bankless for a new layer 2 that opens is we got a theme park. Everyone's in line at the theme park. The gates open. You can go start to use the rides. Now, right now, they may be dangerous rides. You might have a roller coaster that kind of, is tossing people off. People getting jostled around a little bit. All right, so there's some danger. But tell us about the rides. What can people do when they, enter the gates of the theme park today? Do I just go and I set my MetaMask, RPC to Polygon zkEVM, and then I can start using apps? What are the apps like? What's the user experience like? Is this just like the Polygon proof of stake network? Can you tell us about that first, Mihailo?
Yeah, very happy to answer that. The great thing about zkEVM and why, let's just take one step back and explain why zkEVM has been considered the holy grail of scaling, because it is a technology that simultaneously offers three very, very important features. One is scalability. The second one is security. So we get to increase throughput significantly without sacrificing security. We'll full-blown leverage the security of Ethereum. And the third very important component or feature is EVM compatibility or equivalence, if you will. The third component actually makes things incredibly easy for developers and users. Ethereum EVM is the standard for Web3 programming, right? And it's already a mature ecosystem. There are wallets like MetaMask, developer tools like Remix, Hardhat, Solidity is already a pretty mature language and all of that. So there's this whole ecosystem that has been built around EVM. zkEVM, one fantastic thing about it is that it's completely leveraging all these tools and this whole experience, and both developers and users simply continue to use these networks in the same manner like they use Ethereum. So developers just simply take their existing Solidity contracts, they can deploy them on zkEVM using the same tools like Remix, like Hardhat. There are basically no differences for developers and for end users. End users simply connect their MetaMask, they submit transactions in the same manner like they would do on Ethereum. It's absolutely the same developer and end user experience with a comparable level of security and with much lower fees and much higher scalability. So yeah, all in all, we're very, very excited and we believe this is a very important milestone. But
very
Jordi,
cool. What would you add to that, Jordi?
Yeah, to highlight to that, because this is very important. It's not, so we are using exactly the same tooling. That means that we are not maintaining a parallel version of Hardhat to work in our system, or a parallel version of MetaMask, or a parallel version of Solidity compiler. So we are using the Ethereum Solidity compiler. We are using the Hardhat. We are using whatever tooling that you have, and we are using that tool. We are not maintaining any of those tools. Those tools are maintained by the third parties. Okay, and this is what defines the EVM. It's like, because we are executing the EVM. Is Ethereum virtual machine. Okay, and this is the Ethereum. So it's Ethereum virtual machine. Okay, and this is, so we are being fully compatible with this bytecode, and this is what allows to use any of this tooling. So any of the systems of Ethereum. Smart contract, you don't need to compile again the smart contract. You just take this smart contract and you deploy it there. So it's like an extension of Ethereum. It's not a new thing. It's extension of Ethereum. And this is, this simplicity, because I remember that the first time that I was doing a presentation about the zkEVM, I feel like bad, because okay, you just connect to Remix, you just deploy some smart contracts, everything I mean, there was nothing new in there. People know how to deploy smart contracts. So where do you see the difference? But this is the magic, okay? And this is the cool thing of this project, is that the users don't notice the difference on deploying on Ethereum or in a zkEVM, except of course on the price and on the throughput. Okay?
Is it accurate? Is it accurate to say, guys, that everything that is available on the Polygon proof of stake network, like all of the smart contracts, all of the apps, all of the things that you can do there, you can fairly easily, or maybe like perfectly easily, port those over to or duplicate those on the Polygon zkEVM? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, it's most of them. I hear there are, I mean, I need to be, just to be very clear, there are some, we have some precompiled smart contracts that are not implemented yet. We are working on that, and we are going to implement in the next version. We are talking about pairings, or we are talking about SHA-256 or some extended. So if your smart contract is not using this, you can just copy them. I mean, just deploy here, deploy there. The same way that you can deploy something in Polygon PoS, or you can deploy that in mainnet, or you can deploy that in Worldly, or in any other Ethereum network. You can deploy it in zkEVM. Here there is these exceptions of these precompiled smart contracts. They are not used very much, most of them. So I would say most applications should not have any problem. But we are working on that, and we hope that in a few months we can extend that, so that every time we are going to be more compatible on that.
So Jordi, can you guys underline this for me? So, or for listeners rather. So why would someone want to deploy on Polygon zkEVM versus the Polygon proof of stake network? Why would an app want to be there? Why would a user want to be there? Is there a difference in terms of the underlying security guarantees? Can you highlight what that difference is and tell us about that, Mihailo?
Yes, of course. So we have made this commitment a while ago that in Polygon, we will commit all our resources, all available resources, to push the frontier of innovation and to ship more reliable, more performant, and more secure technology. And we always have known that Polygon PoS Chain is not the end game, right? This is very dynamic industry, fast evolving industry, and zkEVM is the next generation of scaling technology that is more advanced, more secure than Polygon PoS Chain itself. And that's the main motivation here. Why would someone want to migrate, for example, from Polygon PoS Chain to zkEVM? Someone might, when we speak about mainnet, people would want to migrate from mainnet to zkEVM because there's higher throughput and there are lower fees without sacrificing security. So all in all, this is the next generation tech, and we're not stopping here. As Jordi said, this is a very monumental, very important milestone. But we have very, very exciting plans for the future as well. This is not still the end game, but it's a very, very important, very big milestone.
So end game technology, but we're not at the end game. We're just at kind of chapter one of it. What happens to the Polygon proof of stake chain? So I think there's been some, conversation on Twitter, for instance, that, hey, when, Polygon zkEVM comes out, maybe the Polygon proof of stake chain kind of migrates to this technology. I don't know if that's how you see it. I know Polygon has always seen itself as a set of technologies to scale Ethereum, whether it's using, sidechain type technology, or whether it's using zk type technology in layer 2. But obviously the Polygon proof of stake chain has reached tremendous success and is one of the most used chains in crypto. What happens to it? What's the roadmap for the proof of stake chain? Is it now legacy tech, Mihailo?
Yeah, it's a great, very important question. I would say certainly, and be completely honest, I would say Polygon PoS Chain is a legacy tech. We always wanted it to be legacy tech, and we knew when we started, then, 3 or 5 years down the line, we have to be embarrassed by that technology. So to say, if you're not embarrassed, that means we haven't done our job well, right? This is, again, very dynamic industry, and we constantly want to push this frontier of innovation and ship better technology. That being said, Polygon PoS Chain is not going away, is not becoming irrelevant. There is, I believe, strongly clear need for both networks in the market. So there are certain trade-offs that I'm going to just explain very, very briefly. DeFi applications might want to definitely deploy to zkEVM because zkEVM offers ironclad security. It's fully secured by Ethereum, submits, since it's a rollup, it also submits user transactions to Ethereum, which get stored there to ensure data availability of these transactions. However, zkEVM the throughput is limited by submitting, because we're submitting these transactions to Ethereum, right? That's always going to be the bottleneck. So, and always going to increase the costs of transactions because you have to pay Ethereum gas to store this transaction data. So zk rollups will always have a little bit more limited throughput and a little bit higher transaction fees. For DeFi applications, for example, that doesn't really matter. If you have a lending application, for many of the applications, if, for example, a lending market, you take a loan and then you repay a loan 6 months down the line, right? So for you, security is the priority. There's a lot of economic value here in these applications. So I will say zkEVM is the right choice for me. It's highest possible level of security. And I don't mind that transactions are a little bit more expensive. When you have something on the other side of the spectrum, like Polygon PoS Chain, where you have, for example, Web3 games with in-game assets which are on-chain, and they are not really highly valuable, but these games have a lot of users and frequent transactions, they might say PoS Chain is still a very good choice for us because it offers much higher throughput, much lower fees, and that's perfectly fine for some of these use cases. So I believe these two sets of trade-offs and features for these two networks will remain relevant for different types of applications. That's how we see it. And just basically because we can maybe just show a little bit of alpha there because you're always inviting us and you're always following.
Yeah. If you have alpha, please do share.
We are experimenting. We cannot confirm or commit to anything formally yet, but we are experimenting how we can leverage zk technology, given now that Jordi's team has shipped zkEVM. We're exploring how we can potentially leverage zk technology on the PoS chain itself, which will give it like renewed, even more obvious relevance moving forward. But we cannot share anything officially yet, but we're actively exploring that as well.
It's very cool. Okay, so just to go on what you said, we have, let's say, maybe if you could give some order of magnitude estimates. I understand, like these are just estimates, but like let's say transferring ETH on mainnet costs $1, and in a kind of a layer 2 rollup, like an optimistic rollup, maybe it costs 5 cents or 10 cents, 5 to 10, something like this. Okay, and then if we go to Polygon proof of stake chain, that's going to cost like far less than a fraction of a penny, right? So very, very inexpensive. What are we looking at for Polygon zkEVM? Is that going to still be in kind of like the layer 2 optimistic rollup range as far as cost per transaction? Or is it going to even deliver an order of magnitude of lower cost versus that? I don't know if any of you guys have estimates on kind of the numbers here, but this is how users view it. They're like, okay, it's going to cost me, $1 on mainnet, 10 cents on a layer 2. How much is it going to cost me on Polygon zkEVM?
Currently, we are about the same that other rollups. I mean, it's like 1/10 of the cost of Ethereum. I mean, depending on the transactions, because for example, data availability, we need to pay the full price. Okay, and depends on the transaction, but it's going to be around 1/10, 1/5, something between that. So it's one order of magnitude at the beginning. We have plans to improve the technology, and with the current technology, without doing anything, we can increase one order of magnitude just by compressing transactions. And when EIP 4844 happens to Ethereum, this would be at least another order of magnitude. So here is like we have like 3 levels, and of course in sharding like probably another one. Okay, so that's the. But we see that at the level. So if we see how Ethereum it is, we can scale easily 2-3 orders of magnitude for sure in the upcoming years.
Jordi, another question I think are in people's minds is we have some experience with layer 2s now, right? For the last 18 months or so, I think ARBITRUM was the first layer 2 that deployed it's an optimistic rollup, which is different than a ZK rollup. Optimistic rollup versus ZK rollup. What you guys are providing is a ZK rollup, a zkEVM, fully programmable. What are the benefits? Can you discuss kind of the trade-offs or the benefits? Why is in what ways is a zkEVM better than an optimistic rollup, if that's even the right question to ask?
The big difference here is the withdrawal time. The withdrawal time in an optimistic rollup, you need to wait 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks just for this challenging game to happen. And in the ZKs, this can go maybe, I don't know, maybe to 5 minutes or just even few seconds. Okay, so you can be very, very, very fast. This is, I mean, you may think that this is okay if you are there, it's why you need to live there. Okay, and you can think, but there is one thing that's interesting, and is the interconnection when you want to composability between these different networks. So what means when you have composability between the different networks is that you need to maybe just have different networks and transfer funds from here to there and from there to here and just work in different days. That means that you are leaving the layer 2 and going to another layer 2. So in a ZK rollup, this you can do that really fast, and you can transfer and you can connect a lot of networks easily. This is an optimistic. You cannot do that. I mean, you need to write these challenging games, and the things get much more complex when you want to play that. This is one of the advantages. The other is, of course, the cost of capital. I mean, there is this game, and the security is based on the quantity of capital that the optimistic rollups have in there. This has its cost. Of course, in the prover we have the proving cost, but this is getting really low right now. So it's becoming very insignificant. So for the rest, they are very, very much equivalent. At the end, they are rollups and things. There is, for example, there is another thing is in the compression. In the compression with the zero knowledge, we can compress much more than in an optimistic rollup. So even the prices are going to go lower on the future. So the future, of course, ZK rollups, they are coming later because, developing this ZK technology takes its time and needs to evolve. But at the moment that we solve this technology. When I'm saying solve, I mean, there is a lot of challenges pending, but but we have the prover now. I would say that optimistic rollups, for me, makes not much sense. Because at the end it's the same, but you have this proof that you don't need to wait 2 weeks. So it's and that's the thing, that this allows you to do many more things.
And this is why advocates of zkEVM have kind of pointed to these two advantages. So I'll just kind of summarize and highlight. Like, advantage one of a ZK technology is you can dial it and optimize it far larger. So even though you're starting with this, it's 5 times cheaper, 10 times cheaper than Ethereum mainnet, you're saying you can push the technology and push the compression, push the cryptography to get transactions from 5 cents to fractions of a penny. And you have more leeway to do that compression than on an optimistic rollup. And the second piece I think is important because, people can see this in at least the US banking system, which, as you know, sucks, hence the name Bankless. Settlement times. If I want to wire money from one bank to another internationally, it could take 3 to 5 days. There's a settlement time attached to that. A similar settlement time actually happens with an optimistic rollup, because rather than having it settle in kind of the Fed now or whatever master central bank settlement engine underlies all of the banking systems, you kind of have to settle this on Ethereum mainnet, right? Optimistic rollups, that takes days right now because there's the fraud proof, there's this crypto economic mechanism. With ZK technology, you're able to just take the shortcut and you can settle on mainnet in minutes. And then that becomes very important when we talk about chain to chain, layer 2 to layer 2 types of interactions. And so that is kind of the network benefit that we're also excited about with zkEVMs. The other thing I'm kind of excited about is you guys are launching, of course, Polygon's not a new chain. So it's well known. Polygon is well known for its business development, and I'm just reading a list of things that you guys are launching with: Phantom, Trust Wallet, DBank, Rainbow, Wallet Connect, Zerion. These are some of the partners that you're launching with, which is also very exciting. Mihailo, maybe you could speak to kind of the ecosystem that Polygon has fostered in general, and how much of that business development that Polygon is so credited for will kind of bleed over and get leveraged by this new Polygon zkEVM?
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. What we see first, we're already seeing a huge level of organic interest for zkEVM. zkEVM is really the bleeding edge technology. I think in general, there is consensus about that in the industry. So first of all, we're really seeing high level of interest. People want to use this bleeding edge, the most advanced technology that we have in the industry now. That's number one. Number two, Polygon Labs, as you rightly said, is doing, I believe, great job in onboarding Web2 companies, big enterprises, traditional companies from all industries to Web3. And I believe Polygon Labs will continue to do that as well, especially now when we have even more advanced technology. The third thing that is important to mention here is that these two networks, especially because of these benefits that Jordi mentioned of how convenient it is to interconnect these zk secure chains, we believe very soon you will be able to observe Polygon PoS Chain community and zkEVM community and ecosystem as one single very interconnected ecosystem, practically like a single ecosystem, and that is very important. One specific to say specifically what I'm talking about is we have something that we call internal LXLY bridge, which is a bridge that enables seamless message exchange between two zk secure networks. And assuming we're able to leverage zk security for Polygon PoS Chain with LXLY bridge, these two networks practically become one network when it comes to moving assets, information, any sort of arbitrary messages, tokens, etc.
Is that the idea, Mihailo, of a layer 3 that people have talked about, or is that sort of something different?
What is great about this LXLY bridge implementation, and Jordi maybe can chime a little bit more, because it transforms all these zk secure chains into a mesh. There is no anymore layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 16. This bridge enables seamless connectivity between any networks that participate, any two networks that participate within this ecosystem. So you can transfer from layer 2 to layer 16 back to layer 1 on Ethereum, or it doesn't really matter anymore. It's like
is it basically, Mihailo, that layer 1, like, so Ethereum would be a layer 1, and then rather than layer 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, layer 2 is just this mesh of all sorts of other layers, and it's all kind of economically secured in the same way. So it's all a mesh of layer 2, basically.
Exactly, and that's what we need. Ideally, I think we cannot achieve mass adoption if these chains live in some sort of isolation. We need all this mesh of networks to become a single homogeneous execution layer, right, that can support massive adoption.
Well, that is how the internet works. So mesh networks are pretty important. Jordi, what would you add to that?
I mean, for me, it's funny, people talking about layer 3 when we don't even have a layer 2. So it's, so let's build first. Let's build first a layer 2. I think that with the ZK technology, you don't need, with a good ZK technology, you don't need that much the layer 3. And you can, I mean, this is what we're talking about. We can build all these mesh of networks and all of that connecting one each other. Of course, you can always build layer 3s on top, but for me, it's like, okay, and layer 15. I mean, it's like, let's build layer 2. Layer 2, let's put some of these networks. Let's connect these networks together. Let's see how we transfer one each other, and let's learn how all these things will work, and then we think about layer 3. But it's for me, it's from the technical perspective, it's okay. It's like, because layer 2s are not good enough, because maybe the proof is too expensive, or maybe because you have these delay times that it makes them. Let's build a layer 3 so that we can bypass these limitations of the layer 2 and so on. But we have a very good layer 2. Okay, so we have an extremely good layer 2. So let's see what we can get. I mean, I don't want to discard layer 3 because it's perfectly possible. But I think that the industry should focus in layer twos.
Well, whatever the marketing folks decide to end up calling these things from a buzzword and narrative perspective, right? The vision we're talking about is a layer 2 mesh network that is secured by Ethereum, which is super exciting. Guys, we have a few more things to cover, including how this zkEVM is different from some of the others that have come to market and are coming to market recently, and also the risks. We said we would get back to that. So if you bridge, what are the risks? We need to conclude by talking about the MATIC token, of course. But before we have all of those conversations, we want to thank the sponsors that made this episode possible.
UNISWAP is the largest on-chain marketplace for self-custody digital assets. UNISWAP is, of course, a decentralized exchange, but you know this because you've been listening to Bankless. But did you know that the UNISWAP web app has a shiny new fiat on-ramp? Now you can go directly from fiat in your bank to tokens in DeFi inside of Uniswap. Not only that, but Polygon, ARBITRUM, and Optimism Layer 2s are supported right out of the gate. But that's just DeFi. Uniswap is also an NFT aggregator, letting you find more listings for the best prices across the NFT world. With Uniswap, you can sweep floors on multiple NFTs, and Uniswap's universal router will optimize your gas fees for you. Uniswap is making it as easy as possible to go from bank account to bankless assets across Ethereum, and we couldn't be more thankful for having them as a sponsor. So go to app.uniswap.org today to buy, sell, or swap tokens and NFTs. ARBITRUM 1 is pioneering the world of secure Ethereum scalability and is continuing to accelerate the Web3 landscape. Hundreds of projects have already deployed on ARBITRUM 1, producing flourishing DeFi and NFT ecosystems. With the recent addition of ARBITRUM Nova, gaming and social dApps like Reddit are also now calling ARBITRUM home. Both ARBITRUM 1 and Nova leverage the security and decentralization of Ethereum and provide a builder experience that's intuitive, familiar, and fully EVM compatible. On Arbitrum, both builders and users will experience faster transaction speeds with significantly lower gas fees. With Arbitrum's recent migration to Arbitrum Nitro, it's also now 10 times faster than before. Visit arbitrum.io, where you can join the community, dive into the developer docs, bridge your assets, and start building your first dApp. With Arbitrum, experience Web3 development the way it was meant to be: secure, fast, cheap, and friction-free. Learning about crypto is hard. Until now. Introducing MetaMask Learn, an open educational platform about crypto, Web3, self-custody, wallet management, and all the other topics needed to onboard people into this crazy world of crypto. MetaMask Learn is an interactive platform with each lesson offering a simulation for the task at hand, giving you actual practical experience for navigating Web3. The purpose of MetaMask Learn is to teach people the basics of self-custody and wallet security in a safe environment. And while MetaMask Learn always takes the time to define Web3 specific vocabulary, it is still a jargon-free experience for the crypto-curious user. Friendly, not scary. MetaMask Learn is available in 10 languages with more to be added soon, and it's meant to cater to a global Web3 audience. So, are you tired of having to explain crypto concepts to your friends? Go to learn.metamask.io and add MetaMask Learn to your guides to get onboarded into the world of Web3.
All right, we're back. How is the Polygon zkEVM different than some of the other zkEVMs that are coming to market recently? Mihailo, what's the competitive advantage here? What is the secret edge, or how have you approached this problem in the way that other solutions haven't?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say that we're very excited that we see multiple zkEVM projects in the ecosystem. That's very useful for everyone, primarily for Ethereum. And we're very excited to see that. We're also very excited, and we strongly believe that Jordi's team has found a very good balance between this EVM equivalence and what do we mean by it, and practicalities of the network. So there are different approaches here that maybe even Jordi can cover or I can cover. But the point being is that we were able, I think, to strike the great balance where we're fully really compatible with Ethereum. All the tools are working, both developer tools and end user tools, as we said. Solidity works out of the box. There's zero impact on developer and user experience. And at the same time, we delivered something. It's not like we're 1 year far. It's not like it's impractical. It's not like you need a data center. You're just creating proofs today on a commodity cloud instances, right? So I think it's more about the balance that we were able to strike. and then some great engineering and cryptography breakthroughs that our team has built. Has achieved on this path, and it has been really incredibly exciting being part of the process and observing the great energy and all these breakthroughs and everything. And I think when you just look at the facts, Polygon zkEVM is the only one that is now on the mainnet with real world assets, full featured apart from pairings, as Jordi said. The code is fully open source, fully visible. Prover is running, every transaction is being proven and verified on Ethereum layer 1. So basically multiple audits, both internal and external, of all the components of the zkEVM, including the prover, including circuits. So I would say all these important checkboxes that you would expect for a full-blown mainnet, Polygon zkEVM is ticking them. So yeah, I think that's just the state of the matter at the moment. But I can leave to Jordi maybe if he wants to add some more.
Yeah, Jordi, I'm curious, what do you make of this? Some people have called this the zkEVM wars that are going to come. Of course, the benefit of these wars is decentralization, and Ethereum, certainly. We all kind of benefit from this. But what do you make of this? What is the Polygon competitive advantage here?
Yeah, we're climbing a mountain. I mean, when you are climbing a mountain, and it's the community that's climbing a mountain. Of course, there is people in the community that maybe, or probably in the marketing side, and they want to fight. But at the end, we are climbing the mountain together. I mean, it's like we all want that this technology becomes available to the society. So it's talking about competition. Here is, I mean, there are different projects, and when there is a challenge like that. Even from the engineering perspective, there is different ways to approach the problem, and they are not good or bad a priori. You start with something, you see ideas, you imagine how the system is, and then you just go one way. And other engineer is going to do a different way. And even the starting points are not the same. I mean, sometimes when we started the project, for example, we had some technology. Remember, we had some technology available. Okay, other projects maybe started before, they started later, and they didn't. Maybe they started without a given technology, or they are starting later and they have a technology that was not available when we starting. So even the starting points were not the same. Okay, and we are very in the beginning. So all the projects are trying to do their best to try to solve this problem in different matters. So for me, it's fully respect to all the systems. But said that is, I mean, there is a lot of difference. A lot. It's not one. It's just different approach, different ways, different teams doing a different thing. What I would recommend, and here is maybe for the technical people, if you are if you don't care about the technical, but what I would recommend to the technical people is just for example, go to the source code and try to deploy just try to deploy a Rollup. Just go to Jordi or Polygon PoS, or that's cheap. I mean, I think it's even cheaper than Jordi. I don't know that, but it's like the thing. But it's, I mean, just go to a network. Just try to, I mean, get the prover, get the node, get the synchronizer, get the database, and just go to all the different pieces. They are available there. You can compile there. You can see there. You can see how they work. And the good thing is that you can use that. And at least in our side, our spirit is to give as much as we can to the community. So to take as much as we can and to give as much as we can. And this is the spirit that we have. And the cool thing is that doing that, if we do that between different projects, we can learn a lot. I'm sure that there are things that other projects are doing better than us, and we can learn. And I'm sure that we are doing things that are better than others, and they can learn. And if we get in this spirit of collaboration, the full system will go much faster. Okay? Here we have a good example. For example, internal in Polygon. In Polygon, we have 3 teams working like separately in 3 different projects. Okay, but we have been collaborating a lot between these projects. And this collaboration, I would say that the result of this collaboration is that we could go much faster. The fact that, for example, we are using the proving system of Polygon 0, or we are using the Starks the same way that Polygon Maiden is using. We are sharing the technology. We are sharing the things. We are sharing the technology without barriers, without any competition. It's just, okay, I explain you everything I know about this, and you explain me everything about that. And this collaboration, I think, is the key of the success of this project, of the Polygon. We should be able to export this model to the fuel community, because, and I personally believe that if we work together, and if we work together means just working together in sharing the knowledge one each other, not competing, but sharing, that's the way that we can go faster.
I agree with that. It's crypto likes to be so tribal at times, but ultimately, guys, it's this for Bankless listeners, it's us against the banks. It's decentralization versus centralization, and the benchmark on whether we're successful or not is how long we have protected decentralized assets and how much has entered the system. Right? It's kind of the Lindy effect of like time and also value that we have unlocked in the decentralized ecosystem. And kind of that brings me to the risks, which we talked about earlier. Okay, so security is top of mind, and this is the benchmark ultimately for success for all zkEVMs. And I know Mihailo said this is bleeding edge tech. No one's done, like, people haven't done this before. This is a first, all right? And there's some really like moon math, magic stuff that I'm not sure many people on the planet fully comprehend on how it all works underneath, like in the engine here. And so my question to you is like, what are the risks? Is there the risk, for instance, that there is a hack that all assets transferred kind of go to zero? Like, is that a real risk right now? And what is Polygon zkEVM doing to mitigate those things?
Yeah. So here is, let's see. First of all, RE0 is not. But it's not about, this is not even about Polygon. I mean, it's on any system in the world. Okay. So what you are trying to do, and what we are trying to do, and I think what all the projects are trying to do is, at least the serious projects, is invest as much as we can in security. That means just audits, internal audits, bug bounties, code reviews between peers. I mean, that's whatever formal, testing, so whatever we can and whatever is in our hands, we put there. Okay. But we need to understand also that the security, so if you don't take a risk, certain risk at a given point, the security is not going to evolve. Security is also get evolves when you assume some risk. So here, measuring how much risk you want to assume, and so what are these probabilities, these risks you want to assume in order to grow. This is probably one of the most difficult things in the space. Okay, because it's measuring this low risk is difficult. In our case, I can explain you the risk. So how we are think about risks. Okay. So here in the zkEVM, we distinguish between 4 kinds of risks. What we call smart contracts risk, what we call correctness risk, what we call soundness risk, and what we call stop prover, the prover stops. Okay. Smart contracts is like any other smart contract. It's a smart contract, and the smart contract can have bugs. Okay. And the cool thing here is that the community, after the launch of Ethereum, still some bugs, but we have a lot of knowledge, and there is a lot of auditing companies. There are a lot of procedures, and it has been audited 2 times, checked with the right code, and the probability, I would say, that's relatively low. But again, if there is something wrong in the smart contract, things can go bad. But like any other smart contract, is no difference here that any other smart contracts. Okay. The other thing is the completeness. This is probably the most critical part. The completeness means that you are proving something that goes to a wrong state. Okay. But this is a determined is right from, so you are this is in general is that imagine that you put a transaction and this transaction, the result of this state, because how you program the state goes that you have more money. Okay, that would be really bad. Okay, for this again, zero risk doesn't exist, but I'm quite confident on this mainly, and this is thank you very much to Ethereum and to the Ethereum test suite. We not only did the full audits, but we are also passing all the Ethereum tests of the Ethereum test suite. So if we are passing, I mean, we can guarantee that we are passing this Ethereum suite. So it should be it could be something really weird for this to happen there. Okay, so all the things together, this gives us quite confidentiality. Here, for this risk, we are also, at least at the beginning, we want to disable that at some point, but in this beginning training weeks here, we're going to run a kill switch, okay? Well, I mean, multi-sig with many people kill switch. We should remove that at some point, but if we see we are checking some, some balances, and if we see if we have some checks that if we see something that goes wrong, we can kill switch the network, okay, on this side. But again, I see here a relatively low probability, okay? The others are soundness. Soundness is probably the most tricky one, because it's not that you are doing the things okay, it's that you are checking that all the things are okay. And it's very difficult, it's very easy to forget some of the checks, okay? And a soundness mistake in the provers is relatively easy to do it. And here we don't have, so the community has not much experience here to auditing and to check here. Here we did a huge effort again with audits and reviews, and we correct a lot of these soundness errors. Okay, but here the cool thing is that in the system, the idea is that if a soundness error is detected by the smart contract, and that means that if there are two proofs, that that coming from the same state and with the same transactions, they go to two different states, and you are able to prove two things. This is a soundness error, and what we do is we just shut down, we just hold the network and we go centralized. We shut down the network, and then an update should be done. Okay, and the other protection is that at the beginning we are going to be the only prover that's running the system, unless we stop doing the proof. So there is a mechanism that if in 5 days we are not generating a proof, so anybody will be able to generate a proof. But if we are running the proof, and we are not going to prove something wrong, okay? So this is the other mechanism. So that's why soundness, even being more probable to happen in some soundness mistakes, which is not good, because that would mean that it's a system is centralized. But the risk is that the system is centralized, not that the user will lose money. The system is centralized, we will fix it.
I get it, Jordi. And there are fallbacks for some of these cases, of course. And I think you've done a great job outlining kind of the risks of not just the Polygon zkEVM, but all EVM technology, and at some extent, all layer 2s. One thing I'll say to you listeners is, I remember there was a time when people said a programmable blockchain would never work, okay? Because it would have bugs, smart contracts would never work. And then what happened? There was a DAO event, there was a reentrancy type bug, and everyone was saying, haha, you're like, we were right. Smart contract blockchains, programmable blockchains will never work. And now look at us, okay? They do work. We've got strong Lindy effects. The issues have been dealt with, and we get stronger and stronger over time. I expect a similar trajectory. Not that there won't be bumps in the road. There could be bumps in the road, but we're talking about the long game here. And look, cryptography, programmable blockchains can scale. We've already seen that proven. Guys, we got to be quick on the last question here, but I want to know about the MATIC token. How is MATIC involved in the Polygon zkEVM? What's its role? Do you pay gas fees in MATIC? What's the relationship between MATIC and Ethereum and something like Polygon zkEVM?
Yeah, so a great question and great to close the interview with that. So first of all, when it comes to gas fees, we're using Ether for gas fees. That's what community prefers. It makes user experience even better, and we're using Ether as the gas fee token in zkEVM itself. That being said, Polygon's native token MATIC will have a critical role in the whole Polygon ecosystem that we're establishing right now. So currently we're starting with a centralized sequencer. This delivering zkEVM itself was the grand goal. We just wanted to prove that it's possible, and we're starting with a centralized sequencer and prover like all other rollups in the Ethereum ecosystem. This network needs to be decentralized, and MATIC token will play a critical role in that decentralization of the network, as well as in tying the whole Polygon ecosystem. We already touched up in this interview on this multitude of chains, right? We even have this concept of dedicated chains, which are supernets, Polygon PoS Chain, zkEVM. All these networks will coexist in a very interconnected way, and MATIC will play a critical role in facilitating and securing that whole ecosystem. We will be sharing, I believe, very exciting news in the next couple of months, and our views and proposals, how everything will fit together, because that's what community is now wondering. One question you already mentioned, how Polygon PoS Chain is relevant now after zkEVM. What about supernets? How these all components that you're working on, how they all come together. And the token itself will play a critical role in our mind in connecting all these things together. I mean, we're very excited to share with you and with the community in the following months everything that's been happening behind the scenes, kind of.
Well, we will stay tuned for that. Guys, I just want to say congrats on the launch. This is a huge milestone, big accomplishment. Cheering you on. I mean, as advocates for decentralization and bankless money systems, this technology is pivotal in our ability to scale it. So well done on the launch. Fantastic news. Very exciting. Can we end with this then, before I let you go? What can listeners do to get started on Polygon zkEVM? Is there a website they should go to? How do I bridge across from Ethereum to the zkEVM if I feel so inclined?
Jordi, I'll leave it to you.
I'm just looking for the link, but you just go to the bridge. I probably, if you go to, just one moment.
How about this, Jordi? We will make sure to include it in the show notes for sure.
Okay.
I know you're busy building and doing other things, but we'll have it in the show notes for you, Bankless listeners.
Yeah, just go. So just go to the bridge.zkevm/rpc.com/login, and there you can start the bridge and connect your MetaMask, and you are there. Just go to Remix, deploy your smart contracts, just do some transfers, and I mean, just work as a normal network, and it's really easy. I mean,
new bankless frontiers opening up for you as we speak. This is now available. Jordi, Mihailo, thank you so much for coming on Bankless and telling us more about it.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Always a pleasure.
Got to end with this. Of course, none of this has been financial advice. ETH is risky. So is ZK technology. All of DeFi is, really. You could lose what you put in, but we are headed west. This is the frontier. It's not for everyone, but we're glad you're with us on the Bankless journey. Thanks a lot.